Welcome to Walking Wednesdays. These sessions will take place on the first Wednesday of every month from 12 to 12:30 p.m. If you can't join us live, no worries. Each session will be recorded for you to watch whenever it's convenient. This month and next month, November and December, these workshops are pre-recorded due to the time of year and the demands of a busy calendar. I'm Cody Crosby, your Salt Lake County Employee Wellness Health Educator, and I'll be hosting these sessions. Walking Wednesdays are all about movement. No slides or participation required beyond listening. Normally, during our live workshop, if you have questions, you can ask them in the chat or unmute yourself. Today, things are a little bit different, but feel free to reach out if you have questions. Think of this like a live podcast. Just press play, listen, and move. Our goal is simple: to get you moving during the next 30 minutes. Whether you're walking at your desk, bouncing on a yoga ball, stretching, or walking around your building, we want you active. I'm typically on my yoga ball, so if you see me bobbing around, that's why. Go ahead, grab your headphones, and let's get moving. I'm really glad you could take some time today to join in for our Walking Wednesday. Wherever you are, maybe you're at your desk, the kitchen table, moving around, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes together exploring something that affects every part of our lives: energy. I want you to take a moment and check in with yourself. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just soften your gaze, relax. Ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how energized am I right now? No judgment, just notice where you are. Keep that number in mind as we go throughout this session today and see if it shifts by the end. Think about your typical day. Maybe you wake up a little groggy, have coffee or breakfast, dive into emails, meetings, tasks, errands, and by the time your workday ends, your brain is fried. You want to rest, but maybe there are kids to feed, chores to do, or social obligations waiting. Sound familiar? The truth is, energy isn't just about sleep or caffeine. It's about how your body, mind, and habits work together. And the good news is you can influence it in a sustainable, science-backed way. So today, the 3 questions that we're going over, these questions were submitted via QR code. You'll see it on the screen. It'll be up a couple different times today. You can submit your own questions that get answered during Walking Wednesday. The 3 today are: how can we boost energy after work without relying solely on caffeine or sugar? How does metabolism affect energy throughout the day? And how can we create a sleep-friendly routine that truly restores and rejuvenates? So I'll share some practical tips, some science-based information, and simple habits you can start using immediately. And at the end, I'll put it all together into a reset challenge that will help you apply these strategies right away. So go ahead, take some deep breaths, keep moving, and let's start by talking about how to boost your energy after your workday. After a workday, energy depletion is common. Fatigue is influenced by physical, cognitive, and emotional factors. Addressing all 3 simultaneously helps restore energy efficiently. Evidence-based strategies for boosting energy after work include light exposure, transition routines, mindfulness, movement, and social connection. We're going to go through each of these now. Starting with light exposure. Exposure to natural light regulates the circadian rhythm, which governs sleep and wake cycles, hormone release, and alertness. Cortisol production peaks in the morning, helping initiate metabolic and cognitive activity. By midday and late afternoon, natural light exposure continues to support alertness and energy. So here are a few things to help keep that energy flowing throughout the day when it comes to natural light. Spend at least 15 minutes outdoors in the natural light after work. If sunlight is unavailable, consider bright indoor lighting or a light therapy lamp. And move routine activities outdoors when possible, such as a phone call or brief breaks in your day. Studies from Harvard Health indicate that morning and daytime light exposure enhance mood, alertness, and energy regulation through synchronization of the central circadian clocks. Moving on to transition routines. Switching from work mode to personal life requires intention and intentional transition strategies. Cognitive load from work tasks, emails, and deadlines can persist, leading to mental fatigue. A structured transition routine reduces residual stress and increases evening energy. Here are some things that can help with creating these transition routines. Allocate 5 to 10 minutes to a transition routine after work. Include activities such as changing clothes, stretching, showering, or brief mindful breathing. Take 3 to 5 deep breaths before moving into your home and into your home responsibilities to signal a shift to your nervous system. Research in occupational health shows that brief detachment routines after work can improve your energy levels and reduce burnout. Moving on to mindfulness and stress management. Emotional and cognitive fatigue contributes significantly to overall energy depletion. Daily mindfulness practices can reduce sympathetic nervous system activation and improve attention, focus, and energy levels. Things to try for mindfulness and stress management include practice 10 minutes of meditation or focused breathing after work, observe thoughts and emotions without judgment, and identify reactive patterns and allow mental reset before engaging with your evening tasks. Next is physical activity and movement. Even light physical activity after work improves energy by enhancing circulation, increasing oxygenation, and stimulating endorphin release. Short bouts of movement can reverse sedentary fatigue and enhance alertness for evening tasks. So engaging in 5 to 15 minutes of light movement, such as walking, stretching, or mobility exercises, or incorporating mini sessions of movement throughout the evening if prolonged sitting occurs. Moving on to social connection and emotional support. Positive social interactions influence your energy through biochemical pathways, including oxytocin release, which reduces stress and improves mood. Emotional energy restoration is critical for overall function and energy throughout the day. Try allocating 10 to 15 minutes of positive social interaction after work and engage in conversations, shared meals, or collaborative household activities without distractions, aka without screens. The evidence behind this is that social support has been consistently linked to increased energy, reduced stress, and improved emotional regulation. So, summarizing these energy boosting strategies to try after your workday, starting with light exposure, a minimum of 15 minutes outdoors, consider light therapy if needed, a transition routine, 5 to 10 minutes of structured shift from work to personal life, mindfulness, 10 minutes of meditation or focused breathing, movement, 5 to 15 minutes of light physical activity, social connection, 10 to 15 minutes of positive interaction. Obviously, when adding all of these together, that seems like a lot of time to commit to, but trying one or two of these tips could impact your energy and can help you feel more energized after your workday has ended. All of these strategies address multiple dimensions of wellness, including physical, emotional, and social. When consistently applied, post-work energy levels can improve, and evening productivity and your well-being are enhanced. Moving on to our next question, which is how metabolism affects energy. This gets a little bit deep into metabolism. I'll go ahead and add some resources at the end of this video on a recent health hub that covers metabolism if you want more information. That's where I got my information today, and I'm happy to share. So returning to one of the most powerful things that is contributing to energy levels, your metabolism. When we think of metabolism, we often think of calories in versus calories out, or how fast I burn fat or food off. But metabolism is far more dynamic. It's the entire system by which your body converts food, regulates hormones, powers your brain and muscles, and responds to your environment. When it works well, you feel steady, focused, and resilient. When it's out of sync, you probably felt sluggish, crash prone, and emotionally flat. So understanding metabolic rhythm and timing. One key idea here is that your metabolism is tied to your body's internal clock, their circadian rhythm. Emerging research shows that when you eat matters almost as much as what you eat. For example, a 2017 study found that delaying meals by 5 hours shifted key metabolic rhythms in healthy young men. Their plasma glucose rhythms were delayed, and gene expression in fat tissue shifted. What this means is your peripheral clocks in your liver, your fat tissue, and your muscles respond to when you feed them. When your meals are mistimed, those clocks get out of sync and your metabolism becomes less efficient. A recent review of this, called Chrononutrition, the study of food timing added with your internal clocks in your body, states that aligning food intake with your circadian biology offers significant benefits for weight control, glycemic regulation, lipid profiles, and mitochondrial efficiency, even without reducing your total calories. So to put this in real life terms, an application is imagining your body is like a shift worker. When you eat late into the night, while your internal systems are preparing for rest and repair, you create metabolic mismatch. That mismatch drains energy and reduces resilience. Where if you were to eat at an optimal timing, your body would know how to use the energy more efficiently. Moving on to meal timing and the effects on energy and hormones. Breaking down specific metabolic consequences of mistimed eating. Blood sugar and insulin regulation. When you eat late or erratically, your body has a harder time managing glucose. According to a health article by National Institutes of Health, eating when you'd normally be sleeping, which is an inactive phase, encourages weight gain and metabolic dysfunction, even if you are eating more calories. When we talk about meal timing and insulin, such thing as insulin sensitivity and chronotype, the time of day you're eating, research has shown that people whose calorie intake is concentrated earlier in the day have better insulin sensitivity, and that meal timing is strongly associated with individual chronotypes, morning versus evening people. In short, eating at consistent, earlier aligned times helps your body manage energy, fuels your brain and muscles better, and avoids the drag that comes from feeding your body when it's winding down for the day. Another takeaway you could try is for your biggest meal, aim for midday when your metabolism is at its highest. Avoid heavy meals or snacking right before bed. If you have to eat later in the day, make it light and include all of the macros: protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Avoid high carbs and lots of sugar before bed, as this amplifies the glucose and insulin response. Moving on to how mindful eating and hydration can help your metabolism. So, beyond timing, how you eat influences your metabolic efficiency. If you rush through meals, eat while distracted, or skip on hydration, you can send your system into stress mode rather than restoration mode. So, mindful eating mechanics would include sitting down without screens while you're eating, taking deep breaths before eating, maybe expressing gratitude during your meal, pausing between bites, and these choices allow digestion to slow to a healthy pace, improve your nutrition uptake, and reduce overeating. The key thing with hydration is mild dehydration reduces your cognitive performance, elevates fatigue, and weakens the metabolic machinery that turns fuel into usable energy. So before grabbing coffee or a sugary drink when you feel tired, try water first. A hydrated cell is a more efficient cell. Hydrating the body at a cellular level can significantly improve your energy. Along with this is fuel quality. So eating regularly and getting enough protein, fiber, healthy fats, and carbohydrates supports your metabolic rate. Dietitians warn that skipping meals or undereating can harm metabolism, reduce energy, and increase stress hormones. So here's something to try when it comes to hydration and quality meals to help your metabolism is for your next meal, turn off notifications, sit down fully at the table, breathe deeply, and eat slowly. Have a glass of water with your meal. Choose balanced options, lean protein, veggies or whole grains, and a healthy fat. Now take note of how you feel 30 minutes later versus when you eat on autopilot and just because you're hungry at the end of your day. Moving on to movement and metabolic alignment. So here's another thing that people skip over is light exposure and metabolism. We just talked about light exposure and your energy level, but it's directly related to metabolism as well. So getting light in the morning, natural light, sets your cortisol rhythm and kickstarts metabolism. Think of it like pressing the on switch on your day. If you spend all day inside with no sunlight, your peripheral clocks may drift, digestion slows, your energy wanes. It kind of whacks out all of the systems going on. So here's a reflection moment. So you should still be moving your body, walking, whatever you're doing, but go ahead and take 30 seconds and think about your last 24 hours. At what time did you eat your largest meal? How much sunlight did you get this morning? Did you snack late into the evening last night? Go ahead and answer these, and then maybe visualize one change you want to make tomorrow or later this week to help shift this rhythm we're discussing. Go ahead and pause for a second while you think. Okay, now this last part of our metabolism question is putting it all together. What does this look like in a normal day-to-day setting? So it could look like in the morning between 6 and 10 a.m., light exposure, hydration, breakfast, and kickstarting your metabolism. By midday, largest share of calories, movement if possible, and a mindful meal. Afternoon, a light meal or snack if needed, hydration, and avoid heavy carb rich or sugary pick me ups. In the evening, your last meal should ideally be finished 2 to 4 hours before bedtime. Light exposure is lower, and use screens dim or avoid screens before bed. Late night, bedtime, avoid snacking, especially high fat or high sugar, and let your body move into repair mode. When you follow a rhythm like this that we just outlined, your body's engine can run smoother. You'll notice fewer crash points, better mood, steady energy, and improved recovery. Conversely, when you eat late, skip breakfast, snack randomly, you can feel sluggish, foggy, and you'll likely carry stress into sleep, which compromises your next day energy, and the cycle repeats. Okay, moving on to the third question, creating a sleep-friendly routine. So talking about the foundation of lasting energy, that is sleep. No matter how your metabolism's functioning, no matter how you're trying new routines, sleep is important. No matter how many sunlit steps you take, how perfectly you time your meals, how well you manage your stress, if your sleep is compromised, your energy, mood, and resilience all suffer. Sleep isn't just about rest, it's your body's repair system. It's when your brain clears metabolic waste, your hormones regulate, and your cells regenerate. When you constantly miss or fragment sleep, you disrupt metabolism, immunity, mood, and even your cardiovascular health. So, first thing, prioritize 7 to 8 hours in consistency with this. Adults need somewhere between 7 and 8 hours of quality sleep for optimal metabolic health, hormone regulation, cellular repair, and emotional resilience. Here's the catch with this. Consistency matters just as much as duration. According to the National Sleep Foundation consensus guidelines, consistent sleep and wake times are strongly tied to better outcomes across alertness, metabolic health, inflammation, and mental health. So, an irregular bedtime, even if you get 7 to 8 hours, is associated with higher risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and impaired cognition. So, the practical way to apply this is choosing a bedtime and wake time that you can stick to every day, including weekends. Set your alarm accordingly and aim for those 7 to 8 hours. If you want to, you can track for a week and see how you feel each morning and see if your consistency shifts up or down if you're rating this on a scale of 1 to 10. Next is building an evening wind down routine. Your wind down window sets the scene for deep restorative sleep. If you hurtle from screen to bed, your brain stays in alert mode. We need to shift into rest repair mode. Here's how to build that buffer. Start 1 hour before bed. Dim the lights, turn off bright overhead lighting, and opt for soft lamps. Avoid intense screens if possible, using night mode, dark mode, blue light blocking, and choose low-key activities, light stretching, yoga, journaling, reflection of your day, reading, or a few minutes of meditation. Why this matters, why the wind down is important. Evenings full of bright light and screen time send your circadian cues the wrong signal. The hormone melatonin gets suppressed, and your internal clock thinks it's still daytime. Research from Harvard Health Publishing shows blue wavelength light at night disrupts your biological clock and sleep quality. A study found that evening exposure to blue enriched light altered sleep onset and brainwave activity in healthy adults. So we have a moment here to reflect a little bit about your sleep habits and your normal routine at night. I want you to imagine your ideal wind down hour, that last hour of the day. What are you doing? What lights are on? What does your home look like? What sounds are going on? Is it peaceful? Is it stressful? If it's ideal, do you think you could commit to replicating that image in your head? All right, moving on to optimizing your sleep environment and light exposure continued. Your bedroom is your sleep laboratory. Set it up intentionally. Some key environmental factors that can improve sleep quality. A cool temperature, around 65 degrees to 68 degrees, is ideal for most people. Darkness, using blackout curtains or an eye mask. Darkness boosts melatonin release. Quiet or calming sound. If you live in a noisy area, try earplugs, a fan, or white noise. No screens in bed. Even a glowing standby light triggers wake sensors in the brain. Blue light management. Avoid strong light after sundown. And use apps or filters on screens. Wear blue light blocking glasses if needed. A bonus tip is that bright light exposure during the day improves your sleep quality at night. It strengthens your circadian rhythm. So this is where we talk about that 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight early in the day can support your bedtime routine. Managing stress, emotions, and your nervous system for better sleep. Even with the perfect environment and schedule, if your brain is buzzing, your sleep will suffer. Emotional and mental health and mental stress activate your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, which hinders deep sleep and slows repair and leaves you groggy the next morning. Some mind body tools for sleep: daily meditation, journaling, gratitude reflection, and pausing using your screens out of autopilot habits. If you check your devices, do so at least 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Moving on to synchronizing your sleep with your body's clock and repair cycle. So think of sleep as an anchor in your energy system, just like a ship returning to dock each night. The rhythm matters. Disrupt that rhythm and you feel jet lagged even without travel. The physiology behind this is that your circadian rhythm, your homeostatic sleep drive, and external light cues must synchronize for optimal repair during sleep. When they don't, you get metabolic and cognitive dysfunction. For example, irregular sleep timing increases the risk of heart disease and may degrade metabolic health, even if the total sleep time is accurate. This is where we talked about that consistency is key, with not just getting 7 to 8 hours, but following through on the same bedtime every night and wake time in the morning. Practical habit here you can try is pick a lights out cue that you always do before bed. Perhaps that's setting an alarm, aiming for lights out by 10 p.m. and waking at 6 a.m. It's all about picking your schedule and sticking to it. Tying this all back to energy is why does this all matter for your daytime energy levels? And it's because quality sleep builds the foundation of energy density, the kind of energy that's consistent, resilient, and sustainable. So going back, poor sleep leads to elevated cortisol and insulin resistance, altered hunger hormones, which means overeating or cravings, poor mood, weaker immune system, foggy thinking, slower metabolism, and weaker recovery. In contrast, when you stabilize your sleep habits, you'll notice morning clarity, fewer dips or crashes in the day, better mood and emotional regulation, and stronger recovery from work, stress, and physical activity. So once again, go ahead, close your eyes if you can, or just think for a minute. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning feeling truly rested. What time did you go to bed? How do you feel about it? What's the first thing you do in the morning? Is it different than a morning where you didn't feel rested? Go ahead and hold on to that idea for a few seconds and let it create some intention and motivate you to make a new goal for your sleep habits. Okay, moving on to bringing this all together. These 3 questions we had today go together all under the umbrella of energy. So we've explored how boosting energy after work with light movement, transitions, mindfulness, and social connection can be beneficial, how metabolism and energy through meal timing, hydration, and circadian alignment, and sleep routines for recovery, resilience, and regulation. So you'll see on your screen, I've put it up if you want to refer to it, but a 7-day energy reset challenge. Now you can choose to do one of these things or all 7. The goal is to incorporate some new habits and to reflect or write down how these habits are changing your energy levels. So morning sunlight for 15 minutes, 1 mindful meal a day, midday meditation or a pause for 10 minutes for breathing, after work transition ritual for 5 to 10 minutes, go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, and reflect daily, 1 to 2 wins or moments of gratitude. After 1 week, you can notice changes in energy, mood, focus, and resilience. Small, consistent habits are more powerful than short bursts of effort. So here's a little reflection to kind of end our topic, is imagine how your energy could feel if you incorporated these habits daily. Visualize the difference. Would you have a calmer mind, more steady energy? Would you be a deeper sleeper? If those are your goals, then these are some great things to try. So that's the goal, is sustainable, lasting energy that lets you show up fully in your work, family, and the rest of your life. Thanks for joining in today. And remember, presence over perfection, connection over control, and gratitude over grumbling. If you take care of your energy, listen to your body, and recharge intentionally, your future self will thank you. As we wrap up today, I just want to say thanks for joining in to this week's Walking Wednesday. Remember that every step you take today is an investment in your energy, your focus, and your overall well-being. So keep that momentum going by adding a few extra minutes of movement to your day. Whether it's a quick stretch between your meetings, a short walk after dinner, or dancing while you make dinner. If you missed any of our previous walking sessions, take a moment to tune in to the recordings. They're available on the Employee Wellness website or on YouTube. Each one answers different questions and has tips and inspiration to help you stay active, answer health questions, and stay motivated all week long. Thanks for joining in. Reminder to submit questions if you have any. Looking forward to next month.